Get your hands up, out of the car. Get your hands up.
Lexington, Illinois, the 6th of February 2025. It's just after 9:35 a.m. on a gray, cold morning in central Illinois. The interstate hums with light weekday traffic semis, sedans, commuters cutting through the mist on I-74. In a quiet dispatch center, miles away, an alert flashes across the system. Be on the lookout, silver sedan. Armed robbery suspects out of Texas, last seen northbound toward McLean County. Illinois State Police units immediately take notice. License plate partials match, description confirmed. Inside the vehicle, 2 young men, believed to be armed and dangerous. Names later confirmed as one 9-year-old Joseph Martin Hernandez from Texas and one 8-year-old Ryan Aaron Stanley Hurst from Arkansas. At first, the tracking is distant highway cameras, plate readers, digital breadcrumbs. But as the car passes through Champaign County, it becomes clear they're coming straight toward Lexington. One trooper radios in calmly, but the tension in his voice betrays him. Control, I have eyes on a silver 4-door sedan, possibly matching the Texas Bolo northbound on 74, approaching Lexington exit, requesting backup for felony stop. Units mobilize. 2 marked cruisers shadow from a distance, maintaining visual. Helicopter support isn't available. This will be handled on the ground. Inside the suspect vehicle, Hernandez and Hurst are silent. They've been running since Texas, hundreds of miles, fueled by adrenaline, caffeine, and paranoia. At 10:30 a.m., the silver sedan turns off the interstate, pulling into a small-town gas station, a quiet pit stop surrounded by farmland and frost. To the officers trailing behind, this is the moment they've been waiting for. Dash cams capture the approach in chilling clarity. The sedan rolls to a stop beside a pump. Hernandez steps out casually, hood up, and walks into the convenience store. The driver, Ryan Hurst, stays behind the wheel, engine idling, head swiveling nervously. 3 state police units move into position, engines off. Officers exit with precision weapons drawn, tactical spacing, adrenaline coursing.
Now.
State police, hands up, don't move. The shout
Stay right
cuts
there.
across the parking lot, echoing off metal siding. Hurst freezes for a second. Then, instead of complying, his right hand dips. He reaches toward the console, slow, deliberate, deadly. Inside the store, Hernandez turns at the sound of shouting. Through the window, he sees his friend surrounded troopers fanning out, sirens now wailing in the distance. He raises his hands instinctively, wide-eyed. Outside, the troopers hold position, voices overlapping, commands, warnings, split-second decisions. Show me your hands. Do not reach for that weapon. Step out of the vehicle now. But Hurst doesn't move. He stares straight ahead, jaw clenched, eyes wide, like someone trapped in his own defiance. One officer edges closer, using the doorframe of his cruiser as cover. The radio crackles. Unit 4. Suspect in driver's seat, possibly armed. Backup en route. The next moment unfolds in the blink of an eye. Hurst raises his arm, a handgun glinting in his hand, and points it directly toward the officers. 2 gunshots explode through the morning air. Officers return fire-controlled, precise bursts, the crack of their service weapons echoing across the gas station forecourt. Shots fired. Shots fired. Suspect hit need medics. Code 3. Hurst slumps sideways, the weapon falling to the seat beside him. The officers rush forward, still shouting commands. "Hands! Show me your hands!" before pulling him from the vehicle. It's over in less than 30 seconds. Within minutes, the gas station transforms into an emergency zone. One officer applies pressure to Hurst's wound, talking to him to keep him conscious. "Stay with me, buddy. EMS is on the way. Keep breathing." Another clears the vehicle, securing the handgun, ensuring there's no further threat. Hernandez, still inside the store, surrenders immediately, hands raised, trembling. He's cuffed without resistance, led outside, and placed in the back of a patrol car. Witnesses, the store clerk and 2 customers, are escorted to safety. The scene hums with urgency and professionalism. Officers, medics, investigators, each playing their role in the aftermath of controlled chaos. Hurst is stabilized on the ground as Lexington EMS pulls in. He's pale but alive, blood seeping through his jacket. Paramedics work quickly, loading him onto a stretcher and rushing him to the hospital, where he's later listed in stable condition. Inside the car, investigators find scattered belongings, fast food wrappers, a cell phone, maps, and a weapon that ties back to an armed robbery in Texas. The Illinois State Police secure the perimeter. Forensic teams begin their work documenting shell casings, photographing angles, mapping trajectories. A trooper speaks quietly into his shoulder mic. Suspect 1 in custody. Suspect 2 shot and transported. All officers accounted for. No injuries. No officers were harmed. A fact that feels almost miraculous given the sudden escalation. Reporters begin to arrive, drawn by the scanner chatter. They find a town frozen, a quiet Illinois gas station transformed into a national crime scene. By early afternoon, the investigation is in full motion. Detectives move with practiced precision across the taped-off parking lot, documenting tire marks, collecting shell casings, photographing the silver sedan that now sits motionless beside the pumps. The air smells faintly of gasoline and winter rain. The sound of camera shutters, murmured radio traffic, and the distant hum of engines passing on Interstate 74 fill the scene. Inside the command trailer, supervisors gather around a map dotted with pushpins tracing the suspect's path from Texas through Arkansas and into Illinois. The confirmation comes quickly. The 2 men, one 9-year-old Joseph Martin Hernandez and one 8-year-old Ryan Aaron Stanley Hurst, were already being tracked across multiple states for a violent armed robbery in Texas. For days, agencies had been exchanging alerts and license plate data, a digital breadcrumb trail leading north. Now, it ends here, in Lexington, Illinois. Population 2,090. By mid-afternoon, the Illinois State Police released their official statement. The tone is formal, deliberate, the kind that compresses chaos into paragraphs of procedure. On the 6th of February 2025, at approximately 10:30 a.m., officers attempted to apprehend 2 individuals believed to be involved in an armed robbery in Texas. When officers attempted to take them into custody at a gas station in Lexington, Illinois, the driver pointed a firearm toward officers. Officers discharged their weapons, striking the suspect. The suspect was transported to a local hospital and is listed in stable condition. The second occupant was taken into custody without injury. No officers were injured. Behind that statement lies a flurry of activity, interviews, phone calls, coordination between departments. Detectives recover the firearm from the passenger seat, tagging and sealing it as evidence before sending it to the state lab for ballistics comparison. A line of evidence markers traces the path of the confrontation from the driver's side door to the spot where Hurst fell, and then to the rear of the car where Hernandez was detained without resistance. Teams from McLean County and Texas law enforcement begin to coordinate charges that will span both jurisdictions. Forensic analysts work late into the night, matching serial numbers and fingerprints. The handgun, they note, is consistent with one reported stolen during the Texas robbery, a critical link in the chain of events. Hernandez remains in custody, calm but withdrawn. He faces federal transport and questioning related to his involvement in the original armed robbery. His first interview scheduled with both Texas Rangers and federal agents. Hurst, once medically cleared, faces a long list of charges: attempted murder of a law enforcement officer, interstate flight, and several felony weapons violations. News spreads fast. Within hours, the quiet town of Lexington, a single stoplight community surrounded by open farmland, becomes the focal point of a multi-state manhunt's conclusion. Reporters and news vans crowd the gas station's parking lot, the glow of their camera lights reflecting off wet asphalt. The station's owner, still shaken, gives a brief interview, his voice trembling slightly as he gestures toward the pumps. It was like something out of a movie. One minute it's quiet, next minute gunfire. I hit the floor, didn't even know what was happening. For the officers involved, the adrenaline begins to fade only after sunset. They spend the evening in debrief rooms, recounting every movement, every command. Weapons are logged, statements recorded, and bodycam footage downloaded for review. Each officer sits in silence for a few moments afterward, absorbing the weight of what happened and what could have. The footage later confirms the sequence beyond dispute. Clear commands, visible weapon, rapid escalation, and lawful return of fire. No hesitation is visible, no confusion in the orders shouted. Just seconds between life, threat, and reaction. The kind of moment every officer trains for, but hopes never comes. By nightfall, the scene is cleared. Tow trucks haul away the bullet-dented sedan. Evidence teams finish their final photographs. The parking lot returns to quiet. The smell of gunpowder slowly giving way to exhaust and cold night air. Across town, traffic hums again along Interstate 74, headlights cutting through mist as if nothing had ever happened.